How in the world do real estate agents determine the value of your home? I'm going to tell you all the secrets right after this. All right. The real secret is there is no secrets. It's pretty simple. There are several ways you can evaluate the price or the value of a piece of property. Real estate agents tend to use two main ones. The first one being price per square foot analysis. So if your home is very similar to several other homes nearby, think about a condominium unit in a large building where there might be several versions of that same condo on different floors. That would be the perfect place to use a price per square foot analysis. Or if you have a single family home in a large tract development where there's several different versions of the floor plan, the same exact house that you have, spread out throughout the development, that could be another great spot to use the price per square foot analysis. And you're simply looking at, based on the square footage and the price of the neighboring property, what was the price per square foot? And then you can almost translate that directly to your home and adjust a little bit for the condition of your home and maybe for a little bit of time that has passed, if indeed that is the case. So price per square foot is a great way to evaluate the value of a home if you have lots of exactly the same product in a small specific area. A more common way that real estate agents would price homes in an area where there's lots of different types of homes. Think about my hometown in Seattle. We have a 100-year-old home next to a brand new construction, next to a 50-year-old home, next to a 20-year-old home. It's nearly impossible to use only price per square foot to value properties. So we use what's called a comparative sale method. And that is simply looking at, of all the homes in your neighborhood, which ones are as close to your home as we can possibly find. It's great if we can have 3 to 5 comps, as we call them, but even when I'm pricing a home, if I can just get one really good comparable sale, where it's maybe the same vintage, the same style, same number of bedrooms and bathrooms, that's a scenario where I might grab onto that one comp and use that as our direct comparison. So if it's sold for $500,000, that's kind of our base price or our base number that we're going to work off for the subject property. And then if our property is in worse condition, we might bring that price down a bit. If it's in a totally remodeled state and that comp that we have wasn't, we might float up the price a little bit. Also, you have to account for time and the calendar. So if that comparable sale sold 6 months ago, that won't be as relevant as a comparable sale that sold last month. The closest you can get to your list date in terms of time, that's the most relevant information and the information that you should hopefully use to price your home. So in the end, there's really no mystery. A real estate agent typically will use the comparable sale method or the price per square foot method or a combination of the two in order to price your home. When a buyer's appraiser comes out to value the home for their loan, they're going to use a combination of those two as well. And appraisers often will go even a little bit deeper on some of the differences between the properties. And if you ever see an appraisal report, you'll see that an appraiser is actually accounting for a lot of the differences. So there you have it. In the end, there really is no mystery. A real estate agent will either use the price per square foot method or the comparable sale method as their primary means to figure out the value for your home. When it comes time for a buyer's appraisal to happen and the appraiser comes out, they're going to use very similar methods and create a report that has 3 comparable sales to justify the price that you're selling for your home. It's kind of the industry standard and it's what we do. I will say that when a real estate agent prices, there is the science of price per square foot and some comparable sale data, but we also use a little bit of art and some of our history and experience in working in that city to kind of just have a gut feel for what things should be, because we take into account what we know buyers like and the general market conditions, and we add that to the science and data that we have. Hopefully you found that helpful. For more tips and tricks about buying and selling real estate, please subscribe to our channel. We would love to have you here for every video. We'll see you on the next one. Take care. See ya!